kids are more proud if the parents are successful.
Sir, Mr. Sathish, first of all, thank you very much for coming. If for the people who don't know, if you can give us a brief introduction of yourself.
Yeah, sure. I'm Sathish and I'm from India. I used to work for Accenture in India, and this, what do you call it, as the bug to go to US to become a software engineer, that also bit me. But when you attempt to jump to US, I fell in Dubai. So I landed here in 2005. I joined Emirates Airlines as a software engineer, and 2005.
Okay.
Were you born by that time, or?
No, I'm just 5 years younger than you.
Okay.
I'm not that young. Yeah. 2005, I started my second bachelor.
Brilliant. So 2005, I came here as a software engineer for databases and other technologies. But I had a fantastic 15 years growth in Emirates Airlines. And when I came out, I was head of technology innovation for the group. And like the Silicon Valley bug bit me in 2005, startup bug bit me in 2020. So I always wanted to do a startup when I'm 40. So 2018 and a half, I did a side hustle. I was working on my first startup. And when it was right, I had to focus full time on the startup. And now I'm a tech entrepreneur in this region. That's my background.
You talk about your timeline. First was 2005 and then 2018 and a half, you said. So about going back to the bug, you did first hustle, when was that?
2018 and a half, when I was exactly 40.
Okay, so you wanted to, before that you never did your own thing?
Before that I did when I was in college, when I was doing my higher diploma in software engineering in Aptech. I was doing my BSc Physics and higher diploma in software engineering, computer science. So at that time itself, I got introduced to building, I don't know if you know, Fox Pro based applications.
That's the programming, yeah, of course I know. I told you.
Real estate management system, academy management system, library management system.
Absolutely,
So we had our own startup. At that time, the startup word was not very popular in our region. So they used to call not as founders, they used to call as working partners. So I was a technology working partner in a company at that time when I was studying itself. So that's when I got into entrepreneurship. So there we were building softwares for college students, to learn more about different domains and different languages. It was more of practical based learning, because when I was in Aptech, it was more theory based learning. So that's when we found a need for practical based learning. That was my first stint, but that ended when I was 20. 20 to 40, I gave my full 20 years for enterprise, and after 40, I'm back to entrepreneurship.
Yeah. Why 40? Because generally people say, okay, I'm going to start as soon as I graduate, or even I will drop out and become an entrepreneur and become a billionaire. And it's the first time I've ever heard that, okay, I will wait till age of 40 and then I will start. Is it planning, or was it coincidence, or how?
It was planning, so it was not a great planning. If I had lived my life again, then I wouldn't have waited for 40. I'll tell you why. My grandfather is a central government employee. My father is a central government employee. Most of my relatives are central government employees. So I'm coming from a risk averse family. You get your monthly salary, happily go to office at morning 9 o'clock, come back at 5:30. That's how almost 3 generations of my family have been living. Yeah. Either they were in central government in railways or road transportation or in airways, but always being in central government job, right?
I know people who very proudly at the age of 40, 45, they very proudly say, I'm working this government and you will not believe how good my pension is going to be. So you are waiting until age of 45 to enjoy your life, 65 to enjoy your life. That's very
definitely not. I decided that maybe 20 to 40, let me also do the same stuff. And 40 to 50, let me focus on startup, and 50 to 60, let me focus on tech philanthropy. So that's how I had planned well ahead of time. I was I was using this time to basically settle down so many things, because I'm not coming from a very rich family to take a lot of risk as well. And I have dependencies. I have to take care of my parents, I have to take care of my brother, and things like that. So this 20 years went happily on saving money, buying assets, saving money for your kids' future education, taking care of your saving money for your parents' medical insurance, and other stuffs. That's why it is 40. Otherwise, this is startup journey is very, very personal. I can't come and tell how a startup has to be started. It's very incidental, it's very universal, in the sense something will come to you at the right time, and you have to just keep your antennas sharp enough to read those signals. That signal will come to you, actually speaking. So in my case, even though I had this plan, that signal came to me exactly at 40. I didn't plan, I will after 40 I'll go and scout for startups. The guy came to me and he said that, hey, there is a problem, we need to solve it. Would you be my technology co-founder? I said, more than happy. And I took it as the universe calling. So you have to just be contextual aware. You have to see what's happening around you. That little awareness, if you have, that's more than sufficient. You shouldn't go and live in an imagination metaverse, they call it, right? And you can be there, you can imagine, you can dream. But if you are not able to sense the things which are happening around you, you are not context aware, then that's a big problem, actually speaking.
Both parents are full-time entrepreneurs and they are very ambitious. Does it affect the kids in a good way or a bad way?
In movies, we have seen that it affects in bad way.
Yes.
Yeah. That's what we see in movies. The hero is very busy going to office. The heroine is very busy going to office, and the kids do all the bad stuff. And those guys, they become villain. And they always used to say, during my young age, my parents used to work. There was nobody. Those stories are gone. That happens mostly in movies only. I mean, I can't generalize, but personally, I feel that's not the case. Nowadays, the demand. Everybody is career, ambitious about their career. Not just the guys, but the women as well. Not just single women, but working women as well. It is not a fashion. It's a passion, basically. They want to grow and they want to prove this thing, and the kids are aware of this. The kids are proud if both of them are working and both of them are hustling. The kids are more proud if the parents are successful. So in my case, touch wood, I was very successful in my enterprise life. I had invented 4 world's first stuff and things like that. My wife is really hardworking and she has won very top level, world level awards in her company. Top 5 employer, top 6 employer in 100,000 employee pool and things like that.
If you don't mind, which company we are talking about?
She is working in Lenovo and I was working in Emirates.
Okay. Right. That's fantastic.
Yeah, so they see that as a good thing. I am seeing them maturing over a period of time than disconnecting themselves from the parents. Now they have a respect on you, because you have done that in the public. You are not Ghar ka sher and Bahar ka, what is that called as?
Got it, understood.
The mouse, right? So they know that, hey, my father is strong, and he goes to, I give guest lectures in many colleges. I have traveled to Valley at least 20 times. I give lectures there, and I have done many presentations, have attended many conferences and things that they see. That they see their father in TV. They have seen me in Dubai TV and stuff like that. So they are aware that, hey, this guy knows some stuff. Let's give little bit respect to him. That's all.
That's great. So nicely put. So the next thing we are talking about, although this was not planned, so I have 2 themes that I have to cover with you before I'm going to lock the door before covering this. So the first thing, this was not planned, was about the investment. You have no idea how many questions I get from the students about investment, that where to start. and then we have to talk about your startup. So you said you have 3 startups. So let's, if we can go through quickly your other 2 kids. We know about Veehive. We can discuss Veehive also. So you can give overview about the first, transportation and video transmission, all those things. If you can go through that, and then we'll talk about the investment realm.
Good. Investment is a very sweet area. There are lots of misconception around investments. We will definitely cover that. I'll try to debunk some of the misconceptions about investments. Right?
That would be great.
And coming to my startup journey, my first startup was Hubun. Hubun Arabic means love. We had a problem of in my family itself had a problem of between me and my wife. I was saying that we both are working. Who will pick up the kid from the school kind of thing. So startup was around ride hailing for the kids basically. So both since I told you that me and my wife, we both work, and I had a similar couple, who is my friend. They also work, and this problem was there for working parents on who will go and pick up the kids. And so that's how we started Hubun. It's a ride hailing service for women and kids, and primarily school drops and things like that. And that startup had to be put on hold after COVID, and because after COVID schools got shut down and people were not moving, and you were asking about investment topic. The investment was not there. Nobody was investing during that COVID time. The whole world was in a serious issue. That's when I started my second one. We put that on hold. There is no point in sticking on to a startup which cannot restart globally for many reasons. The reason being the country is shut down. So, and people have moved online. So if that's when we started our second startup, which is primarily into short form video streaming. So because in my first startup we had a camera inside the car which streamed video live to the parents' phone, so that the parents feel comfortable that they are going to school and coming back, and the conversation which happens inside the car, they were able to hear that. So we picked up that line, and we saw how short form video streaming can change the new ways of collaboration, the new ways of communication. How a customer engages with a brand, how a customer is retained in a brand because of this short form video. Short form video has already proved its mettle in social world. TikTok is very famous for short form video. Instagram Reels is very famous. Instagram was a photo app. It got converted into Instagram Reels now, right? Yeah. So, and how does that impact in the business world is Veehive. Veehive is all about that. And our third startup, the first one is on hold. The third one, I give my product and technology. I'm very passionate about 3 things, which is designing an architecture, designing and engineering the product, and the engineering aspects of the product, and designing the product itself. So it's like architecture plus engineering plus product with the least common denominator of design, right? So we help, it's a femtech company in India, and we help them on how to manage the technology aspect of the whole product. So that's my startup story.
Is it automated system, or you need to have people looking at each case of the customer?
Last startup, Mind and Mom, it's called us. It's about you want a kid, and what help can be provided around that, what ecosystem can be provided around that, what communities can be provided around, what expert knowledge can be provided around that.
This is what you said you are very passionate about.
I am passionate about architecture. Yeah, I'm passionate about all the startups.
I was asking about that architecture thing actually.
Oh, okay. I'm passionate about building products and designing the products from a good architecture and a good engineering perspective. So these are 3 strong elements which will tell you whether a product is becoming a hit or not. And of course, there is a luck coefficient. I'm not going to talk about that luck coefficient. And timing coefficient, are you there at the right time?
Yes.
So other than that, that was architecture, engineering and product.
Okay, perfect. So shall we move to the next juicy topic that, okay, I have many students who come to me and talk about investment. There are many students I can see they want to do startup because they watched some movie and they have this spike of emotions that will fade away. But many people I see, they have the potential and they want to do something. There's an incubation center called In5, very close to university. Students spend a lot of time there as well because they give you free space, and student maybe got this bug from different startups working around them. Very common question that I have this idea, fantastic idea, I need someone to put money in. Now there are two parts of it. First, why would anyone put money to a newcomer? That's it. Again, it looks good in movies, but
looks good in movies, looks good 20 years back. Your father gave you 40,000 rupees.
No, that was my father.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
He had no choice.
Exactly. That's all can happen. Ideas don't give you money. Okay, so it's just, and just in case if you have done 2-3 startup exits and you have an idea, that idea has a different value. When you are new in a market and I'm meeting you, I don't know who you are, I just have an idea, and if I'm looking for money, you don't have a reputation yet, so you don't have a credibility yet, and you don't have a trust factor between the investor and you yet. That's the reason startups generally don't work like, I have an idea, give me money. It doesn't work like that at all. I have not heard anything like that before. It happens only when somebody has built a startup, he exited, it became a unicorn. He started the next startup, exited, it became a unicorn. And then he has now a new idea, then people will jump to give him money because he has track record. But otherwise, in a startup world, there are many types of investors. The example which you said, father giving you money, is the first type, which is called as FFF round, basically. It's friends, family and fools. Okay, it's an FFF round.
Okay.
Friends, who are friends. You like an idea, your friend is willing to give you money, that's a friend round. It's also called as an angel round. Family, your father gave money, your uncle gave money, that's money from your relatives. Fools, there are few guys who blindly believe you. For that also belief is needed. A third person cannot invest. That is as simple as, this is my point of view, I may be wrong. Third person cannot invest. I will not invest in you without knowing what you have done and where is the minimum viable product. Gone are days where people have PowerPoint presentation and generate money, and that never happened. It's all wrong perception about startup world. The thing which I am aware of is like basically any startup can generate money if that startup is valuable, if that startup is solving a real problem, and if that startup has traction, or if the startup has generated revenue. So if any one of this thing is a tick mark, then there is a huge possibility of generating investment. And what am I trying to say? Very, very simple. You have an idea, you have to invest your time to build that idea and build a minimum viable product. Okay, a minimum viable product or a minimum lovable product or a minimum sellable product, whatever you want to call it, but an MVP which has less feature. It's not that you spend 4 years building that product and after that raise for an investment. Spend 180 days building that product, minimum viable product. Share it with the world and see how the reaction is. And if the reaction is good and if there is traction, so many people are signing up in your application, that's a good time for you to go for FFF round. First it is bootstrap, which means you have to invest your sweat and you have to invest your money. That's what you have done here, right? This is a bootstrap, right? Yeah. After a bootstrap, now there is a setup and it has constant usage. People are coming into the platform to see your product and it is really solving their problem. If it doesn't solve their problem, they'll go off. Yeah. You know how movie work, right? If a movie is good, it'll run. Yeah. If a movie is not good, it'll not run. As simple as that. That's exactly the same thing for startups also. If a startup doesn't solve a problem, it will not run. So when it doesn't run, you will not get money. But if it runs, people are coming back to your site. The daily active users is increasing. The monthly active users is increasing. And people are sending you messages asking for new features. You are on a right track. You would then from Bootstrap go to FFF, which raise money some $10,000 to $25,000 among your circle. take the product one notch high, and see and record the complete progress which you have made from 0 to 0.1 or 0.2, which is like in first 1 year or second year. After that, you can start thinking about raising money. So you can't raise money at the very early stages, my point of view. And once your product has gone to this scale, automatically investors will come and they want to invest in your startup. I have, let's say, 10 plus years working with startups. I have mentored close to 57 startups. I was a mentor in Founder Institute and world's biggest pre-seed incubator, and I have conducted several hackathons. In hackathons, I have seen many startups coming and pitching. Sorry to say this, I have not seen a startup which has nothing and has raised money. Startup needs to have a working prototype. The startup needs to have your vision for 3 years. There is a possibility that you didn't drop out of your school for the startup. You didn't resign a job for a startup. That's fine. But there has to be a progress in your product, and I need to feel that you will stick on to this product for at least 7 years. 7 years is an industry benchmark for a product to become unicorn. There are chances that some startups become unicorn at a very early stage, but those are for many strategic reasons which cannot be replicated so easily. So we are not going to discuss about outliers. On an average, it takes 7 years for a good startup to touch that unicorn status, right? Will you be in that startup for that 7 years? How will I know that? And startup does not have a beautiful the highway which we came in, right? It's not like that. There is lots of turns. There are no roads. There are no lights. There are times when you have to start, when you have to close. You may have to pivot. How will I know if you will endure all those things? What if you finish your bachelor degree and the startup didn't go well, you went and did your master's and you dropped the startup out? So it doesn't work like that, basically. So you need commitment to that product. Bootstrap, friends, family round. After that, you look out for investors is the best foot forward, not on the very first stage.
So if some student have a good, for example, app. I know one student who had a good app and he was having some traction, a lot of visitors, and I actually met someone in Dubai, a remote area, and he also knew it was about some maintenance app. You can call someone for maintenance. So where should he go if he have some evidence to show and some years invested? Should he wait for someone to come, or there are some avenues in Dubai where he can go?
That doesn't happen. You can't wait for someone to come. You have to go and socialize about your product everywhere. So you need to apply to lots of incubators. You need to apply to accelerators. In this case, I think it's an accelerator. Okay, so where he already has an app, there is already in traction, and he has invested some months in that. So generally, there are many types of investors, private equity, this, that, and all those things, and then comes the VC. A VC will not, I mean, this is my point of view again, so whatever I'm saying here is Sathish's experience, okay? This is not coming from some book, or this is not applicable to all the startups. VCs will come when your startup, VC is giving you money. Why does he give you money? He wants return on that. What return he wants that? He wants to see the path to become a unicorn. You are currently at $1 million valuation, $10 million. Let's not talk about valuation. Valuation game is gone. Currently, you are at 1 million ARR, $1 million annual recurring revenue you are making. When will you make $100 million annual recurring revenue? Question number one. Question number two, will your product make 100 million annual recurring revenue? Are there so much audience who will use your product? Is it a global product? And is it really solving a problem? So these are all the factors which VCs will check. And if all those factors are tick, 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 there is a big market, total addressable market. There is a serviceable addressable market. Then and that market is an billion-dollar market and a multi-billion-dollar market, then there is a probability for you to capture a portion of that market. The portion of the market you capture should be $100 million ARR. So that's what VCs will expect. So if your startup is not going to do that, then generally VCs don't invest in those kinds of startup. Having said that, doesn't mean that there are no investors. There are many private equities, there are many banks which gives debt equity and things like that, where if you go and prove that there has been improvement every month on month, I'm acquiring 20% customers, and month on month my revenue is increasing, month on month my operational cost is stabilizing. It is, if operational costs also increase, revenue also increase, then that business is not profitable. The operational cost can be high in the beginning, the revenue can be almost zero in the beginning, but at some point in time the revenue has to cross the operational cost and you have to become cash positive, you have to become profitable. And that profit has to increase year on year. If you have those data, then many banks will give you debt equity for you to expand your business. Many private equity family offices are there, they will invest in those kinds of startups.
That's great. That was very good. Now let's talk about elephant in the room, Veehive. So why, when there are so many platforms already there, what is the gap that Veehive is filling?
Veehive falls in a bracket where you have a product, and how do you want to grow that product? Do you want to grow that product with a salesman, appointing 10 salesmen and asking him to call 100 numbers every day, and you want to go the traditional way, or you want to follow a product-led growth strategy? What is product-led growth strategy? Your product itself is your influencer. Okay, so you don't need a salesman to come and sell it. Canva, did somebody call you to say use Canva? Miro, did somebody, a salesman of Miro, called you to say use Miro? Did HubSpot and Hootsuite and all those product-led growth unicorn companies, did they call you? Shopify, did he call you and say that we have a Shopify product, use it? No. They followed product-led growth strategy. What is product-led growth strategy? Your product should be in a self-provisioning stage. People should come into your platform, they should be able to set up everything themselves. We help startups our startups are product-based companies with our tools and technology to get into that kind of a stage. So generally, when a customer comes, first of all, the customer should be aware of your product, right? How will he discover your product? So we help in that portion. Next, you should be able to reach your customers. For the customers who doesn't know about you, they will discover you in, let's say, Google. But for the customers database you should be able to reach them. Now you have done both, discovery and reach is done. Now they are coming to your website. There should be some engaging content in your website, and they should come back to your website again and again. There should be retention to come back to your website again and again to buy that product, to use that product. So that engagement and retention. And the third aspect is the loyalty. I like your product and I have some queries about the product. I'm asking some questions about that product. And the site itself should be able to, you can't say go to WhatsApp and send a message to get this thing, or raise a support ticket in some other platform. All product-led growth companies, they have comprehensive set of tools within their product itself. For a small and medium business and for an individual business owners, to have that kind of a tool, it will take thousands and thousands of dollars. You may spend $500,000, $2 million to build that kind of a technology. We have a technology, you just add our technology into your website or into your product. We give all these things. We help you with discovery, and we help you reaching your customers with nice stories about your product. When your customer comes to your website, it is engaging, and there are lots of information in your website, and he has more queries about that product. There are groups, there are micro communities within your product where they are asking questions about their product. And then they ultimately are able to buy it, which is shoppable state of the product. That's what Veehive does. So to do this whole thing, there are many ways to do it, right? One of the ways we strongly believe is video-based collaboration, video-based communication, video-based engagement, video-based retention. So we also give you a tool to create those videos at scale. So that's cb.ai. That's a subset of Veehive basically. It's also called as Veehive Studio. You have this physical studio. We have a virtual studio where you just tell that, hey, I want a video like this. It will create a video for you. You just share an URL of some images and say, make a video from this. It will make a video from that. You have a PDF of a specification. Share that PDF. It will make a video from that. So that's the studio part, and that's the distribution layer, which is Veehive. So Veehive helps you In a layman's term, you have an e-commerce product. You want to use Shopify, and to use Shopify, lots of knowledge is needed. Actually speaking, setting up Shopify is easy. After that, you have to work on discovery. You have to work on reaching your customers. We give you everything ready-made. Nowadays, people don't have time. You like this device because everything is there in that, right? And it has software coming along with it. So it is not just an hardware, it's an hardware plus software plus it is solving a lot of problems, right? Like that, we give a platform which comes with discovery, reach, engagement, retention, and shoppable state.
Yeah, I think, thank you very much. So my understanding is, please forgive my ignorance, that each of these things were done by different people before, and we were paying for each service. And I have to go back to Upwork because I got these services mostly from Upwork. And I was getting this content creation and SEO and all that retention part also. And I paid a few $1,000s for that. So now we are getting one platform that solves all the issues. And the most recent example that I'm using now is these story blocks, Envato and Motion Array. They are giving a lot of freedom to the people, and so for me, I understand it much better now. The other thing is that
it's simple. I'll take your example itself.
Yeah,
you are a one-man company, let's say.
Yeah.
How will you do everything yourself?
Yeah, it's
so we are trying to make your company a tech company. That's the vision of Veehive as well. We will convert any company into a tech company by giving our tech platform. We will not ask you to come to a centralized platform. Web 2.0 culture is going to an aggregator platform, going to a central platform. Web 3.0 culture is decentralization. You should have everything of your own. It's a small and medium business. In India and Pakistan, there used to be a lot of STD booths and PCO booths to make phone calls. That yellow color booth in every street. That's how things are getting, decentralized. So you should be able to run your own shop digitally. For that, you have to be a tech company. For you to become tech company, you have to approach several things. We are removing that pain by giving you a simple ready-made platform.
So for how many years you have this Veehive running now?
We went live only this January 2023.
That's good. So it's relatively quite young.
Yes, it is very young.
So I'm going to have another video with you soon, and I'm going to ask the same question. I actually did when I was doing my master's, there was a course called Innovation and Entrepreneurship. So I asked the same question to my professor. I said, okay, professor, come to corner. I have this question. You are talking about all these unicorns and all these, fantastic ideas. And you also said you are teaching this for the last 15 years. Why you are still working with us? Why you are not unicorn by yourself? So he took it a bit personally, and then in the lecture he said that Majid told me it's off the record, but I'm bringing it on the record. I'm millionaire out of my businesses, not billionaire yet, but millionaire. So I'm going to ask you, because January, it's all August, too early. I think let's meet in January 2024 and I'll ask you the same question.
And like you anticipated, January 2024, Veehive will be in very good shape. We are seeing all the signs for that, and hopefully the beauty is we have not even started marketing about our product, and already we have 122 customers. We have already made $60,000 in revenue. We have 40,000 users in different websites. We will definitely see very good progress. I'm not going to leave Veehive so soon. The preacher, you gave a very good example, right? All the professors, they don't become entrepreneurs. Yeah. Because they like that job. Entrepreneurship is different. Entrepreneurship, if people have experience, they can't become an entrepreneur. Entrepreneurship is actually not theory. I don't know if you saw Oppenheimer movie.
I haven't seen. I have to see, because I heard there is a 15-minute scene that everyone should see. I have to go back and see that movie.
15 minutes. There are many things. It's a very good life lesson also. So basically how the theory and practice comes together, right? That's entrepreneurship. So you will have you would have heard many theories from people.
Yes.
But actually when you get down and do stuff, the practical difficulties you face and the perseverance you have, the grit you have to take that startup forward is the most important thing for the success of the startup.
You want to cover anything else from my side? I'm done.
This is perfect. Good start.
Perfect. So thank you so much.
Pleasure meeting you, man. Nice studio you have.